Past days, I actually completely forgot to go live. Isn't that interesting, right? One moment you commit to going live daily, and then all of a sudden I forget sometimes. Now, we've talked about that a lot over the past days, right? What do commitments really mean? Why do we forget things? How to get back on the wagon? And the interesting thing is, I'm going to talk about procrastination a lot because October 14th, we have a new masterclass coming up called the Procrastination Buster, because there is a lot of things going on when it comes to procrastination. A lot of people think that they just need to get over it, just need to force themselves through it, just need to push a little bit harder. Sometimes we just don't feel like it, or we pretend to do things that we feel like, or we're like, you know what, I'll just get myself into a mood. The interesting thing is, so many times I just don't feel like it. If I would rely on myself feeling like it all the time, I probably wouldn't have a business, let alone have a life, right? Because our minds, our systems, they just don't work that way. And procrastination is not about trying to get over that or trying to force ourselves or trying to push ourselves, because often procrastination comes from deep-rooted childhood trauma. So then if procrastination and self-sabotage all stem from trauma, and we shouldn't be pushing through it or trying to get over it or trying to let it go or ignore it, but we should also not give in to it, then what do we do? That's an interesting thing. And the thing we do is, what you should be doing is not waiting for you to feel like it again, or to just say, you know what, I'll take a break. Because if you do that, you'll probably be taking breaks all your life. But if you push through something, it also doesn't work. So what do? What we do is we allow ourselves to feel into where we are, and to actually get into that 1/1,000,000th of a millimeter space between the two of, right? So we just talked about pushing through, that's the ego. Or we have the not doing anything, which is the trauma response. And there is a 1 millimeter space in between these. And that is the space where our soul actually is, where we actually really are, where we have choice, where we can actually feel into the trauma without being overwhelmed or overtaken by it, and where we can take action without pushing ourselves. And that space is very gentle. So what we need to do is we need to actually allow ourselves to step into that 1/1,000,000th of a millimeter of space, and actually step into that space with compassion for who we truly are. Because if we allow ourselves to do that, then that is where the healing happens. Now, that is such a subtle space that we probably won't be able to be there all day, every single time. We'd rather be pulled into these extremes, right? And that's actually okay, as long as we allow ourselves to navigate back and forth and back into that safe space all the time. That should be our compass. Now, we can create that compass inside of our systems. That's what we're going to do October 14th. I'm going to teach you how to create that compass so that you're not pulled into, and that you actually become aware of what that gentle space really is like, because it's a space where we can take action and where trauma is healed. And it's not the type of pushing action, it's a gentle, healing kind of action. And I want to compare it to a walk I just had with my dog. I have a puppy, as many of you might know, and the puppy is a little bit overwhelmed, actually a lot overwhelmed. We've had quite a hectic past 10 days, and his cortisol levels can go through the roof really easily, like with all puppies and babies and small animals, right? He's not used to anything yet. Even though he's 19 weeks now, he still needs to learn a lot of things. So what then happens is he gets overwhelmed in a split second, and then his cortisol levels rise, and then he has to get rid of that cortisol levels, and that actually takes a few days. I talked about that previously on some other of these lives. I talked about that. So today he's a complete wild beast. He's attacking us during walks and being everywhere, all over the place, complete chaos. Or he's sound asleep, but there's nothing in between today. Now, what actually caused this is 3 or 4 days ago. So what we do is we don't realize that the mood that we're in today is actually not caused today. It's actually caused a while ago. So then what we need to do today is actually navigate that really small path. So what I've been doing with my puppy is taking him on sniffing walks, what I like to call, because puppies, in order to diminish that cortisol, they need a few things. And one of the things they need is physical exercise, not running after a ball and catching, but just gentle walking, sniffing, sleeping, and sniffing, sleeping, gentle walking, and chewing. Now, if he gets enough of that, over time, his stress levels will start to reduce and he'll actually refine his own safe space. That's the exact same thing for us. So when we don't feel like it, we're probably pulled into the trauma response side, or or we've been into a pushing side for way too long, or we've been pushing ourselves over some kind of hump that we weren't supposed to push ourselves over. So what we need to find is our own equivalent of sniffing. Now, for a dog, sniffing means that he's actually allowing his senses to calm back down. So what, for instance, I need to do, the equivalent of that, is just reorganizing stuff in my home. I need to clear out a room, and not do that efficiently or effectively, but just not be efficient, not be effective for a little bit, and just allow myself to wander with my senses. Actually, there's nothing that can get me back into my creative mode than that, right? If I don't know what to do, if I don't feel like creating a workshop, or if I don't feel like doing the stuff I need to do, what I actually need to do is start moving in nature, without any specific purpose, without anything that I'm specifically hoping to get, not trying to calm down, but just allow myself to be in the chaotic, overwhelmed state that I'm in, walking through it, physically moving through it while the sun is on my face, the wind is on my skin. And when I come back, actually, a lot of all this overwhelm has cleared up, and then I can access, and instinctively I know what to do again. Now, this is just one example. There's many more. We're going to talk about that in Procrastination Buster Masterclass coming up October 14th. If you want in, just type yes in the comments, and I'll make certain that you get enrolled. I'm happy to give you the link, by the way. But what you do when you don't feel like it, start creating that space of compassion where you can move through the trauma response, create compassion for your pushing through, and actually access your intuition again. Because what our mind starts telling us in that space is that we know what to do. We should just do it. That actually is often the last thing we need to rely on. So this is just a simple thing. There's way more to say, because there's actually 6 different self-sabotaging wounds, and they all need a little bit of different approach. On October 14th, we're really going deep into that, including trauma sessions and all these things. So if this touches you in any way, let me know, or send me a DM. I'll make certain that you get enrolled in that. By the way, it's not a free masterclass. It's a really life-changing masterclass that will clear up all your procrastination habits, because we work on the trauma that actually caused them. So if you want to do anything about it, let me know. But when you don't feel like it, I really want you, hey Rob, great to see you here. I really want you to pay attention to what that's actually trying to do for you, because it's not trying to slow you down. It's not even trying to sabotage. We call it sabotage, but it's not even trying to do that. It's trying to tell you something. And that is what we're going to work on October 14th. Rob, great to see you. I hope you're doing well. That was all for today. I will be talking about this more tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful day for now. All my love. Rob, all my love. And I hope to see you back tomorrow. Bye.